Hello everyone and welcome to Irini's Crochet Corner. In today's video I'm going to share with you a new stitch. This stitch is a kind of a combination between the moss stitch and the modified spike stitch. So to start, I'm going to crochet an even number of stitches. That's my starting knot right here, and then do an even number of stitches. I have 10 chains right there, and then to start row 1 I'm gonna chain 1, that's my turning chain, and start working single crochet along the row. The first chain we skip it, this is our turning chain, and then right into the next chain we go in, pull a loop, 2 loops on the hook, yarn over and pull through the 2 of them. That's the single crochet stitch. So this is the end of row 1. To start row number 2, we're gonna chain 1, turn our work to the other side, skip that turning chain, and into the first stitch we're gonna do a single crochet stitch. Next we're gonna chain 1, skip the next stitch, and go into the following stitch and do a single crochet. And this is our pattern for the second row. So chain 1, skip a stitch, and go into the next and do a single crochet. At the end of the row, you will have 1 extra stitch. In that stitch we're going to do a single crochet. So at the end you will have 2 single crochet next to each other. Now to start row number 3, we're going to chain 1, turn our work, start the row with a single crochet. So we will always have a single crochet stitch at the beginning and the end of the row, regardless of what we do in the middle. I like to have a single crochet at the beginning and the end, just to have a uniform, a kind of uniform edge along the work. So now I'm gonna chain 1, and the next stitch, so I'll skip that single crochet stitch right there, and then into that chain 1 space, I'm not gonna work into that space, I'll go into the single crochet below it. So I'm working 2 rows below. I'll do a spike stitch. So to do a spike stitch, you go into the stitch 2 rows below, all the way back, pull a loop, and then pull that loop to the height of your current row, and yarn over and pull through the 2 loops. Then chain 1. Skip the next stitch, and into the following stitch trace the single crochet 2 rows below, insert your hook all the way back, pull a loop, pull it to your row, and yarn over and pull through the 2 loops. Yarn over, skip a stitch, into the single crochet stitch 2 rows below, pull a loop, and finish your stitch. Now the last stitch is gonna be a regular single crochet stitch. And this is the end of the third row. To start the fourth row, we're gonna chain one, turn our work, a single crochet into the first stitch, chain one. I'm gonna skip the next stitch. This is a spike stitch. We're not gonna work into the space. We're gonna trace the single crochet below it and work a spike into that stitch. And then the last stitch will be a single crochet. So that's the end of the fourth row. To start the fifth row, we're gonna chain one, and the fifth row is the repetition of our pattern. And then into the first stitch, we're gonna do a single crochet. Now skip the spike, so we're gonna chain one. We're not gonna work into the space. We're gonna trace now the spike below it and work into it, a spike stitch. And then chain one, skip the spike stitch, the chain one space, trace the spike stitch below it, go into the spike stitch and pull a loop and finish your spike stitch. So this is the end of row 5. You can repeat row 5 as many times as you want until you reach the height that you want. Here is the stitch after I worked a couple more rows. I introduced a more like a different color just to show you the variation in color with this stitch. And then so now that I've decided to finish my work, so I'm gonna do the last row. So I'm gonna chain one, turn my work to the other side, and do a single crochet into each and every stitch. So we're gonna go into, so I did the first stitch in single crochet, and then into the spike I'll go there into a single crochet, and then into the chain one space I'll go. Now I'm gonna work into that chain one space right there, so I'll do a single crochet, and I'll finish my row with single crochets. This is how the stitch looks like. I hope you've enjoyed today's video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Until next time, take care.